So we get the rhythm guitars here. So up to here is all the same thing. This is actually kind of cool. So Dan sent me amped guitars. So this is a Mesa amp right here. I listened to it for the first time and thought this sounds horrible. And then I have a Bad Cat here. I thought that sounded horrible too when I heard it. Put them together and it sounded really good. It's, I guess because it's two different amps, they're kind of working together and filling in certain areas and stuff. They both sound thin on their own, and then you put them together and it's just massive sounding. So props to Dan for tricking me. So I have Soothe on both of these. It's doing a considerable amount. Got my mix hub, which is what I was into at the time. Big presence boost. I always filter between 8 and 7 on the top end, and I have these up kind of high. It's 187 on the low end. Pulling a little bit of 1K out. And then this one, I'm not pulling any 1K. Same filter points. Same presence boost. That's my thing that I use to gain a little bit of note clarity and definition, clean up some of the messy stuff and harsh stuff. A little bit of a presence lift, but it's not too crazy. Same thing on both of them. On this one, adding air, and it's getting rid of some of the weird kind of whistly stuff. Hear how that kind of jumps forward, but not in a good way. It's only on the Mesa, it's not on the Bad Cat. I'm tilting this just to get a little more brightness, a little more clarity. Same thing on this one. My favorite compressor ever. I don't know, 2 dB. Just kind of makes it sound fun. But I will say with this, these are more mushy guitars, so it's you can't compress quite as hard. Stereo Widener, 127. That's my favorite setting. Got it on both of them. So these are the amp tracks that he sent me, but then I made my own track down here. Little reamp thing that I did. That blends with these two. And the cool thing with this one that I'm going to show you is this is one of the few things I've used a parallel guitar thing. Not like we were talking about earlier, but this is a weird thing. So I send it to this, and it's weird because I take an amped sound, I send it to a tube screamer to just really screw it up, I guess you would say. And then I took it to the Neve and literally just drive the preamp. You can hear that added some sort of dimension. It added low mid. It added like a bloom to it. If you heard this sound on its own, it's pretty rough. Super Neve-y, super low midi, just something cool to blend with this. It's not something that I normally do. I think I was watching something with Joe Barisi, and he was talking about something similar, and I just thought, yeah, I'll try it. And it was cool, and it kind of added something to what's going on here. So you kind of have this wall of sound thing starting to happen. So those are the rhythm guitars, and then under here, we have another double, and it sounds all screwed up. It's so strange sounding. To me, what it sounds like is that something's out of phase, or maybe he ran two heads or two cabinets at the same time, or I don't even know, but it sounds totally screwed up to me. Really crackly. But when you blend it, just again, it's this wall of sound, this dimension that happens. So smooth, my mix hub doing pretty much the same thing, pulling a low bell at 39 hertz, probably just a little muddy, so I kind of pulled that back. So you add these, just weird air, weird kind of crackling sound. Again, it's this wall of sound, kind of larger than life thing that's happening. So it's really cool, and I appreciate it. Kind of more of a jangly thing that has some of the high notes with it. Pulling some of those lows. And this is just meant to support these rhythms that are happening. Just an extension on the voicing of what's happening. They're all treated the same, and again, they're all just layers. Kind of the story with this record is, and I heard on your podcast, Eyal, that he was talking about how many layers they did. For the genre and for what you hear, it's an unnecessary amount of layers, but for some reason it works, and I don't think the listener even knows that it's there. It's just more of a feel thing. That's like kind of the main part, the main rhythm of the song. To me, this one is kind of the loud one, which is the mesa. You can tell that's quiet, but when you put them together, you really hear this one pop in. When you listen by itself, really quiet. That's the one I made. It's kind of quiet too by itself. Really, the way that I came up with this is I just picked the one that I liked the most. I let that one lead, and then I just tried variations of different things just quickly, turn one up, pull it down till it feels right, bring another one in, pull it down till it feels right, maybe try them crisscrossed. Just try all of that stuff and really just follow your ears on it. Whatever makes you feel the best when you hear it is definitely the answer. These are just kind of noisy, crazy sounding ones that I have at a very low volume, just supporting these. And then these are kind of doubles that they did. These so they have really cool chords, and I wanted them to be heard, which you do hear them because the chords that are happening are in the higher register of the strings. So like as soon as you pop these in under these, it almost feels like it's just one thing. Definitely hear that, all those high notes. So that's why I have those at that level. I didn't want to kind of overpower the main rhythm.